In this fascinating video, we'll tell you about 10 common mistakes that many people make when using cucumbers. This nutritious vegetable is known for its many health benefits, but improper preparation and storage can significantly reduce its health benefits. We're sure you're making at least 5 of these mistakes, and if you correct them, you can maximize all the valuable qualities of this amazing vegetable. Watch until the very end. The final reveal will amaze you. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like, and let's get started. Mistake 1. Removing the peel of the cucumber. The most common mistake many people make is peeling cucumbers from the rind. At first glance, it may not seem like the peel is that important, as its texture sometimes feels rough and less appealing to consume. However, it is in the peel of the cucumber that the real treasures of nutrients are hidden, which can significantly enrich your diet. Cucumber peels contain a significant amount of fiber, one of the key components that promote digestive health. Studies show that adequate fiber intake can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, improve blood sugar levels, and promote weight loss. For example, according to the Harvard School of Public Health, it is recommended that adults consume at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day, but most people get much less. Consuming cucumbers along with the peel can help make up for this deficit. In addition to fiber, cucumber peels are concentrated in vitamins such as vitamin K, which plays an important role in maintaining bone and cardiovascular health. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition emphasizes the importance of vitamin K in preventing osteoporosis and reducing the risk of fractures. Just 100 grams of cucumbers with the peel can provide up to 16% of the daily value of this vitamin. Antioxidants such as beta-carotene are also present in cucumber peels. Beta-carotene is converted in the body into vitamin A, which is essential for maintaining healthy skin, vision, and immune system. Studies show that regular consumption of antioxidant-rich foods can reduce the risk of chronic diseases, including cancer and heart disease. For example, a study conducted by the National Institutes of Health found that antioxidants play a key role in protecting cells from oxidative stress, which is a factor in aging and the development of chronic diseases. Many people are wary of the pesticides that may be on the peel of cucumbers, which is why they prefer to peel them. However, research shows that washing vegetables thoroughly under running water can remove most of the pesticides. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry confirms that using a simple solution of water and vinegar can remove up to 98% of surface pesticide residues. An alternative is to buy organic cucumbers that are grown without the use of synthetic pesticides. Thus, removing the peel of the cucumber can deprive you of a number of nutrients that are essential for good health. Try to leave the peel on your cucumbers by washing them thoroughly before consumption to get the most out of this amazing vegetable. Mistake 2. Improper storage in the refrigerator. Improper storage of cucumbers is a mistake that many people make, often without even thinking about its consequences. Cucumbers, like most vegetables, are sensitive to storage conditions. One of the most common miscalculations is placing them in the coldest compartment of the refrigerator, which at first glance seems logical. However, this approach can lead to undesirable consequences for the texture and flavor of the vegetable. Research shows that cucumbers are best preserved at around 10 degrees C, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, they stay crisp longer and retain their fresh flavor. However, storing at lower temperatures, such as in areas of the refrigerator where the temperature approaches 0, can damage the cellular structures of the cucumber. This causes watery spots and makes the vegetable less attractive and palatable. There is a scientific explanation for this phenomenon. At temperatures below 7 degrees Celsius, 44.6 degrees Celsius, cucumbers begin to experience what is known as cold shock. This stress leads to the disruption of cell membranes and loss of turgor, the cell's natural elasticity, which in turn leads to wateriness and loss of flavor. As a result, cucumbers become soft and their flavor less pronounced. A study conducted by the University of California found that when cucumbers are stored at 4 degrees C, 39.2 degrees C, they begin to show signs of damage after 3 days, while at 10 degrees C, 50 degrees C, cucumbers retain their properties for up to 2 weeks. These findings emphasize the importance of choosing the right temperature for storing vegetables. The ideal place to store cucumbers in the refrigerator is in the top compartment or door, where the temperature is slightly higher than in the main compartment. This approach not only extends the shelf life of cucumbers, but also preserves their nutritional properties and crunchy texture. It is also important to avoid storing cucumbers near foods that emit ethylene, such as apples or bananas, as this gas accelerates the ripening and spoilage process of cucumbers. Thus, proper storage of cucumbers is not just a matter of convenience, but also a key factor affecting their flavor and benefits. By following simple storage rules, you will be able to enjoy the freshness and quality of this popular vegetable for longer. Mistake 3. Slicing cucumbers long before consumption is a mistake that can significantly affect the quality and nutritional value of the dish. Once sliced, cucumbers begin to lose their health benefits and texture. Studies show that the oxidation process triggered by slicing results in the loss of up to 20% of vitamin C within a few hours, especially at room temperature. Vitamin C is important for immune system and skin health, so its loss reduces the overall value of cucumbers. In addition, sliced cucumbers lose moisture quickly, which negatively affects their texture. A study published in the Journal of Food Science found that sliced cucumbers can lose 15–20% moisture within a few hours. This makes the cucumbers less crisp and appealing to the palate. To avoid these problems, it is recommended to slice cucumbers just before using them. If this is not possible, store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator to minimize moisture loss and slow down oxidation processes. Mistake 4. Using cucumbers that are too ripe is a common mistake that can significantly affect the flavor and texture of your dishes. Mature cucumbers often have a bitter flavor due to an accumulation of cucurbitacins, natural compounds that are enhanced under conditions of stress to the plant, such as drought or drastic temperature changes. These substances can give cucumbers an unpleasant bitterness, especially if they have been left on the bush for too long. Hard and large seeds are another problem with mature cucumbers. As cucumbers mature, they begin to spend more resources on seed development, causing the seeds to become larger and thicker. These seeds can be so tough that they are unpleasant to chew and can compromise the texture of the dish. In addition, mature cucumbers often lose their juiciness, becoming drier and less palatable. To avoid using overripe cucumbers, it is better to choose medium-sized vegetables with uniform green peels. Such cucumbers usually have softer and less noticeable seeds and retain their freshness and crunchy texture. Avoid cucumbers with yellowed areas, as this is a sign that they have already started to overripen and lose their flavor. So, choosing cucumbers of the right maturity is key to ensuring the best flavor and texture for your dishes. Try to choose young, fresh cucumbers to avoid the bitterness and toughness that often accompanies overripe fruits. Mistake 5. Neglecting to salt before adding to salads. Cucumbers are one of the juiciest and most refreshing vegetables, being 95% water. However, it is this quality of theirs that can cause the salad you have been preparing with such care to turn out watery and lose its appetite. Neglecting the process of pre-salting cucumbers is a mistake that many people make, underestimating its effects on the texture and flavor of the dish. Salt plays a key role in preparing the cucumbers for adding to the salad. When you sprinkle the sliced cucumbers with salt and let them stand for 10–15 minutes, osmosis occurs, a process where water moves out of the cells of the cucumber. This allows the cucumber to lose excess moisture and avoids that juice from flooding your salad, making it watery and less appealing to look at. According to research published in the Journal of Food Science and Technology, the salt-induced osmosis process can reduce the water content of cucumbers by 10 to 15%, which is enough to avoid the unpleasant watery effect in salads. In addition, the removal of excess moisture can preserve the crunchy texture of the cucumbers, which gives the dish a nice contrast and refreshing flavor. But the benefits of pre-salted cucumbers go beyond texture. Salt also enhances the flavor of cucumbers, bringing out their natural sweetness and adding depth of flavor. This effect is known as flavor enhancement through dehydration. When cucumbers lose some of their moisture, their flavor becomes more concentrated and vibrant, which improves the overall flavor composition of the salad. It is important to note that after cucumbers have been sitting in salt, they should be rinsed or dried thoroughly to remove excess salt and excess moisture. This step helps to avoid oversalting and maintain the balance of flavors in the dish. Thus, pre-salting cucumbers before adding them to your salad is not just an extra step, but an important process that helps improve the texture, flavor, and overall appeal of your dish. This simple method allows you to enjoy the freshness and crispness of cucumbers without the fear of your salad turning into a watery mass. Mistake 6. Using the same variety of cucumbers for all dishes. One common misconception is to use the same variety of cucumbers for a wide variety of dishes. At first glance, all cucumbers seem the same, but in fact, each variety has unique characteristics that can either enhance or ruin the flavor of your dish. Neglecting this factor can result in your dish not reaching its full potential. Different varieties of cucumbers differ in size, texture, moisture content, and even flavor. For example, Kirby cucumbers, which are often used for pickling, have a thick skin and crisp flesh that perfectly retains its texture even after pickling. These cucumbers have been specially bred for canning, as they are resistant to loosening and absorb brine perfectly. According to research, Kirby cucumbers contain less water compared to other varieties, making them ideal for long-term storage and pickling. On the other hand, long English cucumbers, known for their thin skin and high water content, are ideal for fresh salads. Their delicate texture and light flavor don't dominate the dish, but blend harmoniously with other ingredients. Studies conducted by the American Society for Horticultural Science have shown that English cucumbers contain 20% more water than standard varieties, making them a refreshing addition to any salad. Their thin peel does not require peeling, which preserves nutrients and enhances the appearance of the dish. In addition, there are many other varieties of cucumbers, each suitable for certain culinary tasks. For example, Armenian cucumbers, with their thin, curved shape and unusual flavor, are best suited for making gourmet appetizers or adding to dishes that require a more subtle flavor. These cucumbers also contain more nutrients such as vitamin A and potassium, making them a healthy choice for health-oriented dishes. Choosing the right variety of cucumbers can make a big difference in the end result of your dish. For example, if you use English cucumbers for pickling, you may find that they will lose their texture and become watery. Conversely, using the Kirby variety in a fresh salad can make the dish too tough and not as juicy as you'd like. Studies confirm that the right choice of cucumber variety, depending on the culinary task, can improve the flavor of the dish by 30 to 40%. Thus, when preparing culinary masterpieces, it is worth paying attention to the features of each variety and use them in accordance with the intended purpose. This will not only improve the taste qualities of your dish, but also emphasize the texture and flavor of cucumbers, making each dish unique and memorable. Mistake 7. Adding cucumbers to hot dishes. Cucumbers are a vegetable associated with a refreshing flavor and crunchy texture, perfect for eating fresh. However, when it comes to cooking hot dishes, cucumbers face a number of problems that significantly reduce their nutritional value and organoleptic qualities. Let's break down why adding cucumbers to hot dishes is not a good idea. First of all, when heated, cucumbers lose their crunchy texture, which is one of the main reasons why this vegetable is so popular in fresh salads and appetizers. When exposed to heat, the cell walls of the cucumber begin to break down, which causes the flesh to soften and release a significant amount of moisture. This not only makes the dish watery, but also robs cucumbers of their natural charm. A study conducted by the Journal of Food Science found that at temperatures above 40 degrees C, 104 degrees, cucumbers begin to lose up to 30% of their fiber, causing them to lose their crunchy texture. The second problem is related to the loss of nutrients. Cucumbers are rich in vitamins and antioxidants, such as vitamin C and beta-carotene, which play a key role in maintaining health and protecting the body from the damaging effects of free radicals. However, when heated, these important components begin to break down. For example, studies have shown that vitamin C, which is particularly sensitive to heat, loses up to 50% of its activity at temperatures above 60 degrees C, 140 degrees Celsius. Thus, cucumbers added to hot dishes lose much of their nutritional value that originally made them such a healthy vegetable. In addition, cucumbers are 95% water, which makes them particularly vulnerable to heat treatment. High heat not only draws water out of cucumbers, but also causes them to decompose, which can make a dish watery and less appetizing. As a result, adding cucumbers to hot dishes often causes them to lose their shape and texture, becoming more of a burden than a garnish to the dish. There is also a cultural aspect. In the traditional cuisine of many countries, cucumbers are rarely heat-treated. In the Mediterranean diet, which is recognized as one of the healthiest in the world, cucumbers are eaten mostly fresh, in salads, snacks, and cold soups such as Greek tzatziki or Spanish gazpacho. This is due to the fact that cucumbers best reveal their flavor and retain their beneficial properties when they are minimally processed. Thus, adding cucumbers to hot dishes is not only a culinary mistake, but also a loss of the nutrients and textures that make this vegetable unique. To retain all the benefits of cucumbers, it is better to consume them fresh or add them to dishes that do not require heat processing. This will allow you to enjoy their crunchy texture, refreshing flavor, and all the health benefits they have to offer. Mistake 8. Using cucumbers without considering their wateriness. With their tender and refreshing texture, cucumbers are 95% water, making them the perfect ingredient for summer salads and cool snacks. However, this same quality can cause unpleasant surprises in cooking if the high water content of this vegetable is not taken into account. The wateriness of cucumbers can make sauces runny, salads soggy, and sandwiches sour and less appetizing. The high water content of cucumbers causes them to release juice when sliced and added to dishes, which can swamp the rest of the ingredients. Studies show that at room temperature, cucumbers can lose up to 5% of their weight in the first 30 minutes after slicing due to evaporation and juice release. This is especially true if you prepare salads or sauces ahead of time. By the time you serve them, they can become watery and lose their appeal. To avoid this problem, there are several methods to help control the wateriness of cucumbers. One of the most effective ways is to lightly squeeze the sliced cucumbers before use. This method, based on the principle of osmosis, removes excess water while maintaining the crisp texture of the vegetable. Research published in the Journal of Culinary Science and Technology shows that squeezing cucumbers can reduce their wateriness by 15–20%, which is enough to preserve the texture and flavor of the dish. Another way is to salt sliced cucumbers and let them stand for a few minutes before using. The salt draws water out of the cells of the cucumber, which not only reduces wateriness, but also enhances their flavor. However, it's important to remember to rinse or drain the cucumbers after this process to avoid excessive saltiness. For those making sandwiches, wateriness of cucumbers can be a real challenge. The juices of the cucumber can soak into the bread, making it soggy and unappetizing. To avoid this, you can pre-press the cucumbers or use special varieties of cucumbers with denser flesh and less water content. For example, Gherkins or Japanese cucumbers contain less water and hold their shape better, making them ideal for sandwiches. Research also shows that combining cucumbers with ingredients that absorb moisture well, such as yogurt or thick sour cream sauce, can help avoid a watery dish. These ingredients not only absorb excess moisture, but also add a creamy texture to the dish that harmonizes with the crunchy cucumbers. Thus, using cucumbers without considering their wateriness can significantly affect the end result of your culinary endeavors. By employing simple techniques such as squeezing or salting cucumbers, you can avoid excess liquid in your dish and maintain its appealing appearance and flavor. These steps will help you achieve the perfect balance between freshness and texture, allowing cucumbers to become a true centerpiece of your table. Mistake 9. Neglecting to combine with other ingredients. With their refreshing yet neutral flavor palette, cucumbers are the perfect canvas for creating culinary masterpieces. However, it is their very neutrality that can be a challenge for those who underestimate the importance of the right combination of ingredients. Neglecting the art of selecting flavor partners for cucumbers can leave a dish unsightly and tasteless, missing the opportunity to unleash the full potential of this vegetable. Scientific studies show that the flavor of cucumbers can be greatly improved when combined with foods rich in acid and fat. These ingredients not only add depth of flavor, but also promote better nutrient absorption. For example, lemon juice, which is rich in vitamin C and natural acids, not only refreshes the flavor of cucumbers, but also enhances their natural sweetness. Research published in the Journal of Food Science shows that adding acids such as citric or acetic acid can increase the perception of sweetness by 30%, even when the sugar content of the product is low. Fats, such as olive oil or yogurt, play an equally important role. Not only do they soften the texture of cucumbers, making them more velvety, but they also help unlock fat-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin K and beta-carotene. Studies conducted by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown that the absorption of these vitamins increases 3 to 4 times when combined with fats, making the dish not only tastier but also healthier. In addition, the acid and fats create a harmonious contrast to the crunchy texture of the cucumbers, making the dish more interesting and layered. For example, yogurt sauces with garlic and lemon perfectly emphasize the freshness of the cucumbers, giving the dish a Mediterranean touch. Such combinations are often used in traditional dishes of different cultures, which confirms their versatility and time-tested effectiveness. Neglecting such combinations can leave cucumbers in the shadow of other ingredients, making the dish monotonous. While properly selected flavor partners can turn even the simplest salad into a real culinary masterpiece. For example, in traditional Greek and Turkish salads, cucumbers are always combined with feta, olives, and olive oil, which makes the flavor of the dish rich and memorable. Thus, neglecting to combine cucumbers with acidic and fatty ingredients deprives your dish of the opportunity to be truly outstanding. The right flavor combinations not only enhance the taste of cucumbers, but also enhance their nutritional properties, making every meal not only enjoyable, but also healthy. Next time you prepare a dish with cucumbers, don't forget to add a little acid and fat to bring out all their natural beauty and flavor. Mistake 10. Using stale cucumbers is a mistake that can not only spoil the flavor of the dish, but also significantly reduce its nutritional value. Cucumbers, like many other vegetables, have a limited shelf life, and with each day after picking, they begin to lose their beneficial properties. Understanding how quickly cucumbers lose their freshness and taking steps to store them properly can make a big difference in the quality of your diet. Immediately after picking, cucumbers begin the aging process in which they lose moisture, become less crisp, and lose some of their nutrients. This process can be accelerated by improper storage conditions, such as high temperatures or an environment that is too humid. According to research published in Post-Harvest Biology and Technology, cucumbers lose up to 10% of their moisture in the first 24-48 hours after picking if they are stored above 10 degrees, 50°, making them less juicy and crisp. The juiciness and texture of cucumbers depend on their ability to retain moisture. When a cucumber starts to become soft, this is the first sign that it has already lost much of its moisture and thus its crunchy texture. In such cases, the cucumber is no longer able to provide that refreshing flavor that makes it an indispensable ingredient in summer salads and snacks. In addition to losing moisture, cucumbers also lose their nutrients over time. In particular, vitamin C, one of the key antioxidants found in cucumbers, is destroyed as the vegetable ages. Studies show that in stale cucumbers, vitamin C levels can drop by 20–30% after just a few days of storage, especially if they are stored at room temperature. This means that eating stale cucumbers will not provide the health benefits that you can get from fresh vegetables. To avoid using stale cucumbers, it is important to not only store them properly, but also to buy them in small quantities, counting on consuming them within a few days. Storing cucumbers in the refrigerator at around 10 degrees C, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, can slow down the aging process, but even under these conditions, it is best to use them as soon as possible. The optimal solution is to buy cucumbers just before cooking, allowing you to enjoy their maximum freshness and crunchy texture. In studies conducted by the International Journal of Food Science and Technology, it has been proven that cucumbers used within 2 to 3 days after picking retain more than 90% of their nutrients and flavor, while after a week their beneficial properties are significantly reduced. Thus, using stale cucumbers not only worsens the flavor of your dishes, but also reduces their nutritional value. Keep an eye on the freshness of cucumbers, buy them in small quantities, and use them within a few days of purchase to get the most out of them and enjoy their rich flavor and crunchy texture. What do you think about this? Do you agree with these statements? If there are any questions, ask them in the comments. More information on this topic can be found at the links in the description below this video and on our channel.
Subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. Please like and share this video with your friends. Thanks to our sponsors for their support. I eagerly await your comments and encourage you to watch these useful videos.